Hello, today we are going to be doing a really fun and easy Monstera Leaf tutorial. This tutorial is really beginner friendly. I'm going to talk you through every step of the way. If you are more experienced and you want more of a challenge, maybe you could draw a whole Monstera plant in a little pot. That would be another option. But for now, I'm just going to be talking you through the basics of the leaf. My name is Kelly Bren Burke. I am an artist living in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am a member of the design team at the Pigeon Letters, and I'll be blogging here every month. Okay, so this is line art with the color in the middle, and there's a variation that you can easily get just by turning off your line art layer, and then you have an entirely different looking piece here. I like it both ways, and it's good to have options. I got the idea for drawing this leaf from this book that I really love called Botanical Line Drawing by Peggy and it's a great book with lots of different options for flowers or cacti. There's leaves as well. And each of these illustrations is shown in 5 steps, which is really nice for beginners. Here is her Monstera leaf. She starts by drawing the stem, and then she draws around it, adds the veins, adds some holes, and then we are done. So we'll be doing something similar here. We're also going to use a website as a reference, and this website is called rawpixel.com, and I've already searched Monstera in here. This is a website with photos and art to use for reference. A lot of the options are free. I really recommend it. So here you can get ideas of what a Monstera leaf looks like. And sometimes they have holes and sometimes they don't. I initially thought that the holes were created like by a bug, but it's actually a natural way that the leaf just grows. Let's look for another one with holes. So there's one with holes. The holes tend to be along the stem and sometimes a little bit around the edges. So you can draw your leaf with or without holes, whatever you would prefer. And so I'm on the free options, and you can download pictures of leaves to use as a reference. This is a good one. I've already downloaded it, but I'll show you how to do it. If you hadn't downloaded, it would just say download. It's on the original size. So I'm hitting re-download. It takes a second, and then it'll ask me if I want to download. I do. And so here we have our picture of the leaf, which then you could save your image to the camera roll. Okay, so we're done here, and let's go back into Procreate, and let's open a new canvas by hitting this plus and then the rectangle. I'm going to do one that's 3000 by 3000 pixels, so I'm going to hit done. I like starting with a square a lot for sharing it on Instagram. I have a color palette here with like an off black and a green. I'm going to fill the first layer with kind of a light beige color as a background. I'm going to add a new layer where we're going to draw the outline of the leaf. The next thing I'm going to do is insert a reference photo. So if you go to Wrench and Reference, you can tap Image and hit Import Image. And I have already added like a little collage of images. These are 2 images from Raw Pixel of the leaf. And I also have Peggy's step-by-step drawing here as a reference. And then here is also a reference of the whole plant with leaves. So you can kind of zoom this around and see how you want to start. Let's start with Peggy's reference, and we can move this. If you tap on that little line, you can move it wherever you want. You can also turn your reference photo on and off by going to Wrench, Canvas, Reference, and toggle it on or off. Okay, so I'm going to navigate back to my palette. I'm going to choose this off black color, and I'm going to use the Pigeon Letters Classic ink brush, and that's from the Pigeon Letters ink pack. we're also going to be using a texture from the Pigeon Letters Grit pack. And so what I did was I moved the classic ink brush to the Grit pack. So let's tap there. I want a kind of a bold line here to start. That looks good as far as a thickness. So I'm going to duplicate this first line and then tap on this arrow and drag this line out a little bit and then tilt it so it connects at the top. And I'm going to pinch these two layers together. This is going to be the stem, and I am going to just connect them here. And I want to make sure that it's connected at the top there because we'll be color filling later. And if we have gaps, the color will fill the whole canvas. And I'm going to grab this arrow and center my stem. I'm on uniform. Let's make that a little bit smaller and centered. Okay, and now what we're going to do is draw the outline. And what Peggy does here, you can do this either way. She draws the outline within there, but what I'm going to do is draw like a silhouette of the leaf and then do the cut-in parts. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. So let's look at this one. So I'm going to what I'm looking for here is just the general outline, and that looks good. And what we're going to be doing is doing the cut-ins in a separate step. So once again, that's centered. I think I might make it just a little bit smaller. And the next thing we're going to do is add a new layer above that and then draw in the cutout parts. So this one has 3 on this side and 4 on the other. I like the lack of symmetry with this leaf. I think it makes it look interesting. So again, on a new layer, I'm just going to be drawing these little cut-ins, and I'm going to be varying the size and the shape a little bit. That looks good. I have 4 over there, and we're going to be erasing away the outsides. So just stick with me. You can do it obviously any way you want. With all my tutorials, just take what you want and leave the rest. Okay, so I like that. And what I'm going to do next is erase away the little bits on the outside. When I was prepping for this tutorial, I started Peggy's way, and then I found I got better results through this, personally, for this erasing method, which is a little unusual, but sometimes I just find it a little bit easier to get the effect I want through erasing rather than drawing. It's just another option to have in your toolkit. One more. Okay, so we have our leaf, and I'm going to pinch together these 2 layers to merge them. And then I'm going to erase away right here. And since we're going to be color filling, you want to be careful with your erasing. You don't want to erase away a chunk like that, because then when you try and fill it with color, it will fill up the whole page. So you don't want that. Okay, so that looks good. We have our leaf, we have our cutouts, and now we're gonna add the veins. And let's just look at the veins on our images here. The veins are not symmetrical. They don't meet in the center by the stem, and they're a little curved. I still have my classic ink brush, and I'm going to add these little veins. Whoops, I have green. If you want to return to the color that you just had, you can touch this dot up here and it will return to the last color you had. So you can flip back and forth between colors really easily. Okay, so we have our brush. We're going to do these little flicks of curved lines. I don't know why with this leaf I keep going outside the edges, but I do. So we're going to add the holes here, and we are going to continue the non-symmetrical kind of look here. Sometimes I like symmetry, and with this one I like the lack of symmetry with this leaf. Just going to clean up this in here. So I want to vary the sizes and the shapes of my holes here. And so I have 3 on this side, 3 on that. I'm going to add more on this side. I think that looks good. Okay. So next we are going to color our leaf. I'm going to use a bright green, and there's 2 ways of doing this. You're probably familiar with just color filling the outlines, which is great, and that works well, but we're going to do it in a different way that offers us a little bit more flexibility. So I'm going to add a new layer above my background color. I'm going to tap the line layer, and I'm going to tap reference. And by doing that, that allows us to color fill on a different layer. Whoops, but you have to be on a different layer. So I'm going to go to the layer beneath there and color fill. So it looks exactly the same when you're looking at the drawing, but here you have the flexibility of turning off your line work or changing the colors easily. It just gives you more flexibility. It also allows you to add just texture to the green part and not the black lines. Another option that we have from doing it this way is to kind of offset our color from the lines. So let me show you how to do that. I am going to actually first turn off my reference layer. So I'm going to go to Wrench, Canvas, Reference, and toggle that off. So we don't need that anymore. If we did need to bring it back, we could do it again by going Wrench, Canvas, Reference, and bring it right back. But I'm going to turn that off for now. So I'm on the green layer, I'm going to tap that arrow, and then I'm going to offset the green from the lines a little bit. And I'm going to do that by tapping in this lower left-hand corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just a subtle move. And then I'm going to do it again with this arrow. I'm going to tap to the bottom, so it's a little bit that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that looks good. So tapping will allow you to move something really subtly in the direction that you want. Okay, so we have our leaf, we have our lines on 2 separate layers, and now what we're going to do is give our leaf just a little bit of texture for interest. And you can do this if you would like, or you can keep it more of a flat style illustration. It's totally up to you. So I have a layer created above my green, and I'm going to do a clipping mask above that. And what a clipping mask will do is it will only place color on the layer. So let me grab this black, and you can see that no matter where I'm drawing, it's only applying it to the green leaf. So I'm gonna clear that. I'm gonna use texture from the Pigeon Letters grit set, which I really like. So there is a brush called Watered Down that I like. And since you won't be able to see it very well in the leaf, I'm just gonna create a new layer right here so you can see what it looks like. I'm gonna grab this green and just show you what kind of texture we're adding. It's a really nice texture. You can change the size so it's smaller or larger. So that's what it looks like. So let's hit clear here, and we're going to delete that layer because we don't need it. I'm going to navigate to the clipping mask layer, and I am going to grab this green, and I'm going to make it just a little bit lighter by pushing it that way. I have the watered down brush, and I'm just going to put some texture right above the leaf here. I'm kind of imagining here, it's like a rough shadow effect, really rough. I'm kind of imagining here that there's a light source coming from this way. So the splatters will be a little bit lighter here and then a little bit darker here, as if it were kind of a shadowy effect. So I'm going to grab that green again. I'm going to this time bring it darker and do my darker splatters here. And you can see here we're getting a really subtle effect, but it adds a little bit of something. You could keep going like that if you wanted. You could go lighter again, a slightly different color. You could bring down the size of the grit. You could do it again for the shadowy kind of effect. And we are done. So once again, yeah, you can turn off your line work. You have two different options here. It's good to have options. I really like them both. I would love to see what you create. If you share your work on Instagram, please tag me. My name is Kelly Brenberg. You can use that hashtag, or you can use the hashtag #CreateWithKelly. I'm sure Peggy would like to see what you create as well, so you could tag her at the Pigeon Letters. If you'd like to see more of my tutorials, I have more tutorials on the Pigeon Letters, and I also have tutorials on Skillshare, so I would love it if you would check me out there. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you, and I will see you soon.